Literally every video gamer in existence has been fascinated by this one since they first spotted it. Everyone seems to think this game is very French. Even if you can't recognise these subtle differences in European architecture, and I can't, even I can recognise a bent Eiffel Tower, and the accordion music, and the mimes.
A storm is coming.
This game is very French. That's not a criticism, it's just an observation. Even President Macron gave it a nod. Don't normally see mainstream media and politicians paying attention to video games. Was a little bit weird, to be honest. But welcome. First and foremost, this game is about loss and grief, but also hope and tomorrow. And honestly, I'd like to go into detail about this stuff, but spoilers. Like, major spoilers. Suffice to say, the story doesn't pull its punches. In just the first hour or so, it does a supreme job of conveying the situation and the weight of the upcoming expedition, the burden that has been placed upon their shoulders. And when the expedition lands on the beach, they are promptly wiped out by an old guy. I mean, it cranks up the emotion, drops a heavy weight on you, then sucker punches you in the stomach.
Clair, obscur, dans des hauts peintures trouveras sans elle. Clair, obscur, double de vin.
If you're gonna give someone flowers, you should probably do it before they wither and die.
What, the flower? Or Sophie?
Ooh, dark. Sophie would approve. Hey, you said it, not me. The others are waiting for you. You're supposed to be helping with the festival.
With what? Putting up 3 tables? They'll manage.
You underestimate Lumiere's enthusiasm for the expedition. There's at least 5 tables.
Marvelous.
Have you tried throwing with your other arm instead? If you could hit the paintress directly, that would actually be useful.
You know, hobbies don't always have to be useful. I'm enjoying the uselessness of today and readying my usefulness for tomorrow. And soon, I'll get to do a lot more than throw rocks.
Even if you have no recognition of anything French whatsoever, and I call you a liar if you said that to me, the game looks and sounds amazing regardless. This isn't the work of a top-shelf AAA developer here. This is from a smaller studio. You can't fucking tell. As for the action, battles are always 3-on-3 maximum, during which you have a range of typical options for an RPG, nothing groundbreaking, basic attack, special skills, items, or free aim shooting. But it's not quite that simple because they decided to throw a shitload of other mechanics into the mix. In addition to your basic options, they included, for example, and there's no other way of saying this, quick time events into the actual attacks. I'm not the biggest fan of QTEs, but these ones are deliberately triggered in response to things that happen, so you're always prepared for them when they do. Skills are not just an event you just trigger and leave to run on their own. It makes you feel more involved in the fight. Both your party and the enemy always land successful hits with everything. But enemies deal a tremendous amount of damage per hit, which means you're not going to last very long under those circumstances. Which is why you're supposed to dodge. Yeah, no random number generator here, just you and your thumb. As long as you time it right, of course. And once you've gotten used to the enemy's attack pattern, try pressing R1 to parry instead. The timing window for parries is narrower than the dodge, so it's harder, but parry the entire combo and you're rewarded with a damaging counter-attack. No, you heard me correctly. You can convert the enemy's attack into your attack.
Brace yourselves.
And later on, when you see the diamond icon, jump, which opens the enemy for a jumping counter. And later on, gradient counters.
Take cover! Careful, my own.
And then, gradient attacks. And then, each character has their own built-in mechanic. Gustav has a gauntlet that charges when he attacks. He can release that charge in the form of a very high damage lightning burst. Luna is the team's spellcaster. She can perform equally well as an elemental damager or healer. Her spells generate stains that can then be consumed by other spells to bolster their power. Mael is a fencer, and considering how thin and dinky her sword usually is, she can deal an insane amount of damage depending on what stance she's in, offense, defense, or virtuoso. Ciel uses some of her powers to inflict foretell on the enemy. Other powers consume that foretell to empower them. Inflicting and consuming foretell generates charges that eventually send her into a high damage Twilight mode for a couple of turns. Verso uses a perfection system ripped straight out of Devil May Cry's style system. The more hits he deals and the less he takes, the more dangerous he becomes. Monoko is unusual. Every enemy the party kills while he's in it, he takes the enemy's leg. That leg gives him the power to transform into that enemy for an attack.
He transforms by collecting Nevron feet. Don't ask me how it works. I've never understood.
It's totally worth going all the way back to the beginning of the game to scrounge all the powers you can for this guy. That's a lot of Wait, I almost forgot. There are Pictos. They're basically attachments with extra powers and stat bonuses. You can have 3 equipped per team member, but once you've used each one in 4 battles, they evolve into Luminas. And once that happens, you can equip any single Lumina on any number of team members at the same time, so long as the character has enough capacity points. And it basically allows you to stack so many bonuses on your team members, you can sometimes feel like they're a tad overpowered. That's a lot of shit to keep track of. And me personally, if I'd been in the room at the developers' round table listening to this pitch, I'd have probably said something along the lines of, "Are you out of your fucking mind?"
Take him down.
Feel the burn. Here's your card.
And you know what? It's not too much. Not at all. Because the game doesn't hit you with this all at once. It doles it out very slowly over the course of the campaign, meaning you have plenty of time to adapt to whatever it was it taught you recently. When you try dodging for the first time, you'll suck. Alright, I sucked. And after a couple of hours, you'll be doing it like a pro and looking to use the harder parries, actively looking to use them. And as the mechanics stack up over time, you'll practice, you'll learn, and you'll dominate. But obviously it's not all about the fighting. The emotional weight isn't just confined to the intro. There's little character moments during the levels, of course, but back at camp, they are scattered throughout, so regularly talking to the other team members is a must, reminding you of what's at stake, but also that these people are doing their best under impossible circumstances. Occasionally, they yell at each other.
I am not letting Mael die out here. I'm taking her home.
What? No, no, no! We have a mission!
Oh, fuck the mission! Fuck the mission, Lune! What are we gonna do, huh? Tell me. What are we gonna do? We're gonna take down the paintress, just the three of us? My gun and your sparks?
I didn't take you for a coward.
I'm not a coward.
You swore the oath. When one falls, we continue.
Yes, I know.
When one falls. When one falls. Not if. When.
And occasionally laugh about it afterwards.
Fuck the mission. Really?
Sorry.
And also occasionally talk over each other. You know, as if they're actually having a real conversation.
Protocol is to regroup at the rally point and wait 3 days. This message feels off. If it was an expeditioner, they would have stayed here. Everyone knows the protocol.
Right, but they may have been in danger. Maybe this location has been compromised. Things change in the field.
There's a reason.
Protocol doesn't cover every contingency. You know that.
There's a reason it's protocol. We designed it to yield the optimal result in the vast majority of situations.
Was our entire team dying part of that optimal result?
Characters earn attribute points as they level up, nothing unusual about that for an RPG, but at first, choosing what exactly to level up is... well, it's a bit mysterious. See, the game will tell you what the stats actually do, but without knowing exactly how the team member fights and how they fight as a team, you don't really know what to choose. It's only later, once you've gained a lot of skill and weapon options and know how everyone performs, you start to think to yourself, yeah, Luna's the healer. I should have built her for vitality and defense to tank her up, make her harder for the enemy to drop. Yeah, Ciel isn't much of a team player. Should have balanced her for might and luck to bolster her solo damage output. Fortunately, respecking is pretty easy. It takes an item called Recoat. And just so you're aware, I collected about a dozen of these in the first 20 hours alone, so you've usually got the option. That, and you should reconsider all of your Pictos and Luminas every so now and again as well. That you can do for free, so you've got no excuse for getting those wrong. Combat is constantly engaging, and not the least of which because of the QTEs, that really helped. But the bosses in particular require a lot more from you. Not just longer health gauges, but they are more technical, requiring you to adapt as they change their patterns over time. It's very impressive stuff.
For those who come after.
Deck. Your fate. A storm is coming. It's your turn. Chrome is flowing. Take this.
Time to hit big.
Not only has this game won overwhelming acclaim from both critics and players alike, but they've announced a live-action film adaptation before the bloody thing released. I'm not sure what else to say about it. Besides accidentally going over spoilers, which I'm not going to do, I could point to various games this one is clearly copying elements from, like Final Fantasy and Persona being the more obvious ones, but it uses those elements in such a unique way that just makes it sound reductive. The whole here is so much more than the sum of its parts. Ultimately, you're just going to have to play this one yourself. And given its Metacritic rating eclipses almost every other game ever made, I'd say playing it is mandatory, wouldn't you? This game was so popular when it released, it ran out of physical copies. That is not even a joke. The developer presumably underestimated how popular it would be. Me personally, I went onto Amazon about a couple of weeks after it released, looking to see, and it said delivery 1 to 2 months. Now, I put the order in and it came within a week, actually. But, you know, Amazon can normally get anything. Even obscure stuff. No pun intended. I swear that wasn't on purpose. Anyway, that's it for this video game review, I think. What did you think of it? Leave a like or dislike down below. What do you think of Clair Obscur? This is, by the way, this developer's first game. It's their first game. Damn! What did you think of it? Leave a note in the comment section below. And for those of you who can't get enough of my dulcet tones, you can always subscribe, ring the bell for notification, that's a separate thing. Or if you want to inflict my irritating persona on someone else, you can always share instead. See you next time.